Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we're going to be diving into 9 more cool and overpowered builds in Elden Ring. These are a mix of fun and powerful builds. Most of these, again, are build requests. Can't wait to jump into these ones. We're going to start with a double Great Stars build, this time doing something a little different with Royal Knight's Resolve. So I've covered these before with Craigblade, of course. Pretty much everybody probably has at this point. They do a lot of posture damage that way. You can run this exact same build with Craigblade, by the way. I wanted to see how much damage I can get with the jump attacks with Royal Knight's Resolve on both and in Occult Affinity on both, giving us over 100 bleed buildup on each one. And as you can see, when we're able to do the jump attacks with Royal Knight's Resolve, we can get anywhere from 5 to 7,000 damage, which is really good depending on how many buffs you do. This is a solid build all around. Seriously, I love this one. This is a lot of fun. Again, you can run the exact same build with Craigblade if you don't want to have to constantly use Royal Knight's Resolve, but if you want massive damage, Royal Knight's Resolve will fit well with these in Occult Affinity, and you'll have a lot of fun. You can take down a lot of bosses this way too. Had he not gone into his Phase 2 transition, he more than likely would have broke, because these are also great for posture damage, and this is on Journey 4 New Game Plus 3. Let's jump into equipment and stats. We have 2 Occult Great Stars, plus 25 preferably, with Royal Knight's Resolve. We have the Dragon Communion Seal. We have the White Mask. We have the Grey Bird Chest Piece, part of the Rakshasa and Solitude Greaves on. We have the Lord of Blood's Exaltation Talisman, Dagger Talisman, Claw Talisman, Blade of Mercy Talisman for those critical breaks, the boost after getting them, Green Burst Crystal Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier. We're using Moog's Shackle to stun the boss. Let's talk about stats. 60 Vigor, 19 Mind, 32 Endurance, 22 Strength, 12 Dexterity, 25 Faith, 50 Arcane. We are using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon. And next up here, we have another build request, of course, the Executioner's Greataxe. Now, this one's a little bit of a challenge. I had to go with Lion's Claw, which of course I've covered before, and I'm going to tell you why right now. The Executioner's Greataxe has a phenomenal critical multiplier. You can get a massive amount of damage from your critical breaks, but the problem with it is the Greataxe, for some reason itself, this one specifically seems to be more so than others, doesn't do a ton of poise damage. Maybe it's the class as a whole, I don't use it that much, but it takes a little bit to break bosses. So I added Lion's Claw to get in those posture breaks. Regular Lion's Claw is going to get you there fairly fast, and then you could add in charge attacks as well, and of course get to that critical breaking point and then get the boost in damage. As you can see, it was around 6,000 or so damage on the critical break, which of course is due to the multiplier the Executioner's Greataxe has, and it's a big weapon with a big critical multiplier. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Executioner's Heavy Greataxe, plus 25 preferably, with Lion's Claw. We have any seal for buffs. You can check out our armor set here. It's kind of random. We hit 52 poise on this one. Shard of Alexander, two-handed sword talisman for any regular hits with the weapon, charge attacks, etc. And then we have the Dagger Talisman for those critical breaks. Blade of Mercy, which is going to boost that even further, because when you get a break, you're going to get an increase in damage. Green Burst Crystal Tier, Bloodsuck and Crack Tier. Let's talk about stats. And for stats on the Executioner's Greataxe build, we get an A in Heavy Affinity for Strength Scaling, 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 28 Endurance, 66 Strength, 99 when you two-hand this, 25 Faith. We are using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon again. And next one up here is the build for the Godskin Stitcher, another build request. Pretty much all these are build requests. This is a really cool one because you get 2 hits on the charge attacks, and then if you add repeating thrust, you can get a ton of bleed buildup. I went for blood affinity here and actually ran a similar setup to the Bloody Helice, which is going to appear later in this video, so you can run either one of those builds if you like heavy thrusting swords. Overall, we get a good amount of bleed buildup. The 131 is nice. The repeating thrust, Ash of War, works really well here because it's going to build up bleed quickly, especially with such a high bleed number on the weapon. And then your charge attacks actually do a good amount of poise damage as well as pierce damage. Alright, you know what time it is. It's time for me to ask if you have any more build requests. If there's any that I haven't gotten to from last week, I'm still working on them. There was a tank one that's going to take a little bit to figure out stats, and a couple other ones that are definitely going to take a little bit more time, but I'm getting to them. They're on my list. Also, I'm doing finally, after all this time, I'm going to do a fashionable builds list. I've done 3 of them so far. I'm going to be doing 6 more. That could be coming out in another week or 2. For this build, we have the Blood Godskin Stitcher, plus 25 preferably, repeating thrust, Dragon Communion Seal. We have the Rakshasa set on a White Mask to increase the damage here, Lord of Blood's Exaltation, Shard of Alexander. We have Melisand's Prosthesis Talisman, two-handed sword talisman for those charge hits, Thorny Tier, Faith Tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this one, we have 55 Vigor, 22 Mind, 27 Endurance, 16 Strength, 40 Dexterity, 50 Arcane, 25 Faith. We are using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon. We lean more towards Dex on this one. And the next one up here is an Unsheathe Faith build. I've done this in Cold Affinity and Blood Affinity, so I decided to do it in Flame Art Affinity to make sure that it was changed up for this video and I'm not doing the same builds here. So this is a Faith-based one with Unsheathe. Somebody wanted a build specifically for Unsheathe. Really cool for poise damage. Kind of wish the first fireball hit him. The second one did, though, so it's all right in the fire on the ground. Overall, though, you're going to get a lot of poise damage this way. Around 650 plus AR with Flame Art Affinity and around 60 Faith. It's going to be pretty impressive overall with the Nagakiba. Certainly fun to use with Rolana's cameo as well. If you can get that boost, that extra 2 seconds and hold it, the damage is really phenomenal now on Unsheathe. This is definitely one to check out, and you'll have a lot of variety here because you are a Faith build as well. Let's jump into equipment stats, everything you need to know to run a fun fire build for the Nagakiba. We have the Flame Art Nagakiba, plus 25 preferably. We have it with Unsheathe. We have the Giant Seal. You can check out the armor set here. We have 57 poise. Pretty cool set there. You can slow this down on the YouTube side. Shard of Alexander, Rolana's cameo, Fire Scorpion Charm. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman again, because you're going to be getting in poise breaks for sure. We have the Flame tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Let's jump into stats. We have 60 Vigor, 23 Mind, 28 Endurance, 18 Strength, 22 Dexterity, 60 Faith. We're using Golden Vow, Helice Brewery, Blessing's Boon, Flame of the Fell God, and then we have Burnow Flame too, which is also really fun. And next up here, we have the Bloody Helice and Dragon build. This is another build request. This is a little bit difficult to do. I'm not the best with the Bloody Helice. You're going to see me make a mistake here. I actually hit the Ash of War button twice by accident, way too fast there, and I end up missing him. But it's all right. I get the follow-up every time after that. And you can actually use this to dodge. It will give you iframes, which is really cool. One advantage to the Bloody Helice. It's not phenomenal for damage, though. The bleed build-up we're getting is over 90, so that's not bad. I think out of the two, though, the Godskin Stitcher is going to give you more damage overall. This one, though, you can mix with Dragon Incantations. Technically, with the other one, you can as well. I kind of built this one around for that reason, though. And at the end, I believe we're going to be using Dragon Maul or Dragon Claw. And you can mix those in. You'll get around 311 scaling with the Dragon Communion Seal, which is pretty cool. You also get poise damage from this Ash of War if you make sure you land the follow-up, as well as Pierce damage. I mentioned Pierce damage before. Very good damage type for pretty much all the bosses in the game. And there's the end there with Dragon Claw. You can get a lot of damage out of your Dragon Incantations as well. This is a solid setup to mix the Bloody Helice with the Dragon Incantations as somebody requested, and a really fun one too that I had a good time with. Really like the mixed hybrid type builds. Let's jump into stats and equipment. We have the Bloody Helice plus 10 preferably. We have the Dragon Communion Seal. You get 311 scaling. We have the Rock Shots to set on, as well as the White Mass to boost damage. Lord of Blood's Exaltation. We have the Shard of Alexander Talisman. We have Millicent's Prosthesis. We have the Spear Talisman. You will get pierce damage out of this. Greenburst Crystal tier, Faith tier. We have Margaret Shackle. That was to stun the boss. Let's jump into stats now. And we have 55 Vigor, 22 Mind, 27 Endurance, 16 Strength, 40 Dexterity, 25 Faith, 50 Arcane. Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing's Boon. We have Rot Breath, Borealis' Mist, and Dragon Claw. And next up here, we have a build for a Poison and Blood Milady, but this is not a dual power stance moveset build. This is actually one I realized you could do and wanted to add here. This was the only one I think on here that wasn't a direct build request. And this allows Milady to give you bleed build up as well as poison build up. If you're using Poisonous Mist and you have the coat on the weapon itself, you can get the poison build up, especially if they stand in the mist, as well as bleed build up if you go for blood affinity. It's an opportunity to proc Kindred of Rot's Exaltation and Lord of Blood's Exaltation with one individual weapon rather than power stancing. I really enjoy the moveset here. As you can tell, the light greatsword moveset's awesome. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Blood Milady plus 25 with Poisonous Mist. We have any seal for buffs. You can check out the armor set here. We hit exactly 51 poise for this build. Millicent's Prosthesis, Wingsword Insignia or Rotten Wingsword Insignia is better if you have it. Kindred of Rot's Exaltation, Lord of Blood's Exaltation. You can proc both. We did while fighting the Magmorm. Bloodsucking Crack tier, Thorny tier. Let's jump into stats. 60 Vigor, 18 Mind, 25 Endurance, 12 Strength, 40 Dexterity, 45 Arcane, 25 Faith. And then we were using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing's Boon again, and we mentioned before we hit 51 poise. And next up on here, we have the all damage types build. Now you could add Knight's Lightning Spear to this build and then the Gravelstone Seal and the offhand, or switch that up to add the boost for that. And then you can get every elemental damage type in the game with this build. I only used 3 because it felt like overkill to use more. Somebody wanted an opportunity to use all the elemental damage types. For this, you'll be able to get Magic on the Beam, fire on the, of course, fire part of the Sword of Night and Flame. Multi-layered Ring of Light will give you holy damage. And as mentioned, if you wanted to add something like Knight's Lightning Spear, you would then have every elemental damage type in the game in a single individual build, and you can absolutely make it work. The Sword of Night and Flame doing massive damage with the beam. The fire part's going to do pretty good damage too. We have 45 faith and 45 intelligence, so we're well split there. We actually have 341 scaling with the Golden Order seal, so that's really cool here too. This is basically a faith intelligence hybrid build that allows you to do a lot if you want to add in incantations. We have Sword of Night and Flame plus 10 preferably, Golden Order seal plus 10. You can see 341 scaling. Part of the Rakshasa set, Solitude chest piece on, and Great Helm. We have Rolana's cameo, of course, to hold our stance and get more damage. Shard of Alexander. We have the Magic Scorpion Charm. I wouldn't recommend running more of the Scorpion Charms because you take increased damage. Godfrey Icon for chargeable incantations. Bloodsuck and Crack tier, Magic tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this build, we have 55 Vigor, 24 Mind, 27 Endurance, 12 Strength, 12 Dexterity, 45 Intelligence, and 45 Faith. Good split there. Golden Vow, Helice Brewery, Blessings Boon, multi-layered Ring of Light, and you can add Knight's Lightning Spear. So the next one's a little bit of an improvement on a previous build. Somebody wanted a Lightning Zweihander build from a while back. I decided to kind of turn it into a Lightning build where you can add Electrify Armament to a bigger weapon and then use Endure and get some decent charge attack damage with a bigger weapon while also being able to switch to incantations. It's kind of a lot to ask for in an individual build, but overall I made it work and it turns out it's a lot of fun. And get a lot of poise damage this way, obviously, too. That's the other big thing here. Jump attacks, charge attacks, all that stuff. Using Endure to take additional damage, using Black Flame's protection. If you want more damage from your lightning incantations, you could switch that out for Helice Brewery, but it's going to be really risky with this type of playstyle because we're going for charged hits, jump attacks, and all that. So, really cool to do this with a bigger weapon on the hybrid build, though. And, of course, you'll get around 800 AR in total when you're two-handing this with the Electrify Armament added. We have the Heavy Zweihander plus 25, preferably with Endure on it. We have the Gravelstone Seal plus 25. We have part of the Black Knight set and Leda's armor on. For our talismans, we have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman. We have the Axe Talisman. We have the Lightning Scorpion Charm. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman. And then for our tiers, we have the Spike Crack tier and the Lightning tier. Let's jump into stats. And for our stats, we have 60 Vigor, 21 Mind, 28 Endurance, 40 Strength. That's going to be 60 when you two-hand any heavy weapon, of course. We have 50 Faith. We are using Golden Vow, Black Flame's Protection, Blessings Boon, Knight's Lightning Spear, and Electrify Armament. And next up here, we have Freyja's Guard Counter build. This is probably the least powerful one on here, but it gives you a heavier weapon for a Guard Counter build. Somebody wanted something for Freyja's Greatsword. Another person wanted a Guard Counter build, so I decided to put this together. So give you some Frost build up too. It's a little bit hard to pull off, though. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I'm not the best with the Guard Counters. And of course, if you're at like a really high level, you could use the Fingerprint Shield and get some serious blocking. Now, the Black Steel Great Shield is okay, but you can absolutely still be broken. You're going to have to pay attention to your stamina bar. And I'm not the best overall with the Guard Counters and timing it. Of course, I'm actually a little bit, I got better at parrying than I am at guard counters sometimes. After I learned how to parry Radon, that was a lot of fun. But as far as guard counters go, you really got to pay attention to your stamina bar. You will build up poise damage, posture damage, of course. You're going to be able to break bosses by using those guard counters. Every time you get hit with the shield, you just follow up with the charged hit button. And after like 4 or 5 of them, you're going to break a boss. This is on Journey 4 and New Game Plus 3. And when you break them, of course, you can follow up with a critical hit. And we have Cold Affinity on our weapon too, so we got 2 Frost procs during that as well. Again, this isn't the most powerful one on this list overall. There's certainly better ones on this list, but it's cool to make a fun guard counter build with a bigger weapon. In this case, we're using Freyja's Greatsword, which is a lot of fun. Now, if you wanted to Fade Chilling Mist, which I had on Freyja's Greatsword, and then go for like an Ash like Lion's Claw, you'll get the boost to it with her weapon too, so that's pretty cool as well. Let's jump into equipment and stats for this one. And we have Freyja's Cold Greatsword plus 25. We have it with Chilling Mist. We have any seal for buffs. You don't need the requirements for it, so I went for a lightweight seal. Black Steel Great Shield. Check out our armor set here. We hit 51 poise exactly. Great Shield Talisman help with blocking. Curved Sword Talisman to help with the guard counters. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman to give you a damage boost when you get in those breaks. Arsenal Charms +1 or Great Jar's Arsenal if you have it. Bloodsuck and Crack tier. Green Burst Crystal tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats, we have 60 Vigor, 19 Mind, 33 Endurance, 60 Strength. We have 25 Faith, 14 Dexterity. We are using Golden Vow again. Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing Spoon. And thanks for watching this one. Thanks for tuning into my top 9 cool, fun, and overpowered builds in Elden Ring. It's a mix of pretty much everything. There's a lot for a lot of people in here, a lot of build requests. Hopefully you enjoyed these builds. If you want to see more builds and have any build requests, of course, be sure to sub and also comment your build requests below. If you want to see a video for more fashionable builds, as well as a video for a no buff list as well, I know some people are looking for that. Be sure to comment for that as well. I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a great day.